Are you ready for the ultimate nightmare? Welcome to the Macabre Marathon, the definitive ranking series for horror fanatics. Every episode, we dive deep into one terrifying horror subgenre, from found footage and supernatural to slasher and body horror, and we rank the absolute greatest films of all time. Our mission is simple: to be ruthless. We don't rely on hype, we rely on criteria. We break down the fear, the visual legacy, the mythology, and the cultural impact of every film, pitting classics against modern masterpieces until only a definitive top 10 remains. If you're tired of watching the same old scary movies and you're ready to see where your favorite film truly stands, then you've found your home. Hit that subscribe button now, ring the bell to join the fear, and tell us in the comments what genre you would like to see. The marathon starts now. This episode, we're diving into the rawest, most visceral form of cinematic terror: found footage. This genre trades polished production for absolute immersion, making you, the viewer, feel like a detective unearthing something you were never meant to see. To rank the top 10 masters of this style, we're judging films on 3 core criteria: realism, how believable the shaky camera, sound, and overall footage looks; fear, the immediate, visceral, and lasting impact of the scares; legacy, the film's influence on the genre and pop culture. We've compiled the definitive list, counting down from the experimental chaos at number 10, all the way to the undisputed master at number 1. The countdown begins now. Kicking off our journey through the top 10 found footage films at number 10 is a movie that proved the genre could thrive as an anthology. At number 10, VHS 2012. What makes VHS unique is its format. A group of petty criminals break into a house to steal a specific videotape, but instead find a stack of tapes, each containing a different short horror film, a different nightmare. This film is a raw, chaotic blast of visceral horror. It doesn't ask you to believe one single implausible story, but 5 short ones. This anthology format is what allows it to succeed by delivering constant, high-concept terror. The VHS segments are uneven, but the best ones are instantly iconic. The film succeeds by showcasing the sheer creative versatility of the found footage format. However, its fantastical nature is where we hit our first hurdle. How does it score? Its reliance on monsters and impossible scenarios means the realism factor is the lowest on our list, earning a 6 out of 10. But the quality of the scares in its strongest segments gives its fear effectiveness a high 8.5. Where it truly shines is its legacy score. We're giving it a massive 9 out of 10. This film launched sequels and a wave of new directors, proving the genre could thrive as a hyper-violent, high-concept anthology. The final word on VHS is that it's less about a singular story and more about showcasing the found footage format as a weapon. It's the ultimate sampler of terror, proving that a single camera can be used to capture every flavor of monster. That 6 realism score held VHS back, but the stakes are about to get real. We're moving up the list to a disturbing psychological film that mastered the mockumentary format. At number 9, we have the 2014 modern sleeper hit, The Taking of Deborah Logan. This film follows a documentary crew intent on chronicling the decline of a woman suffering from Alzheimer's, only to capture her terrifying descent into demonic possession. This film is a chilling commentary on what we choose to film. It earns its impressive realism score of 8.5 by framing the entire story as a medical documentary about Alzheimer's. The cameras are always justified, whether they're professional handhelds or stationary night vision. You truly believe you're watching a tragedy unfold. Where it shines is in the convergence of 2 terrors. It exploits the heartbreaking reality of neurodegeneration, only to twist it into pure, ancient horror. This earned it a solid fear score of 8 out of 10, driven by the profoundly unsettling sight of the body failing the mind, culminating in that unforgettable viral possession scene. It's a low-budget masterwork that earned a legacy score of 7.5 by proving that found footage is the perfect lens for possession stories. It makes the impossible feel real. We move from a well-funded documentary crew to the terrifying isolation of a one-man job. The countdown continues, moving up the list from digital ghosts to purely human terror, a film that proves the only camera needed for a nightmare is the one held by a disturbed man. At number 8, Creep, 2014. The setup is simple. Aaron, a videographer, answers a Craigslist ad placed by a man named Joseph, who claims to be dying of cancer and wants his life documented for his unborn son. But what starts as a sweet, strange request quickly spirals into a harrowing psychological ordeal fueled by Joseph's bizarre, boundary-crushing behavior. This film is a masterclass in slow-burn tension. It doesn't rely on supernatural elements. Its fear comes entirely from the pure, unsettling unpredictability of its antagonist. You know something is deeply wrong, but you can't look away. The reason Creep ranks so highly is its incredible realism factor. The premise of a job gone wrong is instantly relatable. And critically, it provides the most plausible filming rationale in the entire genre. Aaron's job is to film, and he keeps filming because he is documenting an increasingly dangerous situation. Mark Duplass's performance as Joseph is genius. He creates a character that is funny one second, sympathetic the next, and utterly terrifying the moment after. The film uses its lean 77-minute runtime perfectly, cutting all the fat and focusing only on the escalating discomfort. How does Creep stack up? It earns an outstanding realism factor of 9.5 out of 10. Its fear effectiveness gets a strong 8.5 for its sustained psychological dread. And while it's not an inventor, it's a perfecter of its niche, earning a legacy score of 7 out of 10 for showing how little you need to achieve maximum tension. What makes Creep so enduring is its focus on boundary horror. Joseph constantly forces Aaron and the viewer into profoundly uncomfortable situations, showing us how quickly politeness can turn into paralyzing fear. It's a chilling reminder that the greatest threat in found footage often isn't supernatural, it's the person you voluntarily let into your life. This film is a tight, character-driven masterpiece that absolutely deserves its place at number 8. We're making a massive jump in time now, trading the intimacy of a Craigslist camera for the sprawling, chaotic world of 1970s live television. At number 7, Late Night with the Devil, 2023. The film is presented as the recovered master tape of a Halloween night broadcast of Night Owls with Jack Delroy, a struggling late-night talk show host desperate for ratings. His solution? A live seance and an interview with a possessed girl. What follows is a slow, agonizing descent into on-air demonic chaos. The genius of this film is its authenticity. It's split into two types of found footage: the polished, colorful live broadcast and the grainy, black and white archival footage shot during the commercial breaks. This dual perspective is a groundbreaking use of the format. When scoring this film, the realism factor is fascinating. The 70s set, the cheesy commercials, the demeanor of the guests, it all feels unnervingly real, earning a strong realism factor of 8 out of 10. That authenticity makes the horror hit harder. The film delivers on its promise of terror, using psychological dread and visceral shocks, earning a high fear effectiveness of 8.5. But its biggest strength is its legacy score. We're giving it a 9 out of 10. This film virtually perfected the lost media archival subgenre, proving that found footage can be a stunning period piece. The final word on Late Night with the Devil is that it's a brilliant commentary on the Faustian bargain of fame. Jack Delroy is willing to risk eternal damnation live on air for an A-list rating. The found footage format captures that desperate ambition perfectly. It's an absolute modern classic that belongs on this list, but now we move up to a chilling film that exploits a fear we all share, taking us out of the talk show studio and back into the nightmare of the American home. We now move up to number 6, a film that leaves the glamour of the talk show studio and strips away everything except the camera and a terrifying question. What if the evil is already inside your family? At number 6, Home Movie, 2008. This film is comprised entirely of the home videos of the Poe family in rural New York, documenting a year in which their twin children, Jack and Emily, shift from typical, if odd, kids to genuinely menacing figures. The footage captures the parents' growing denial and escalating fear. The found footage rationale here is perfect. The father, a pastor, is documenting their family life, providing a completely organic and terrifying reason for why the camera is always running, capturing every minute of this psychological descent. The reason Home Movie secures the number 6 spot is its realism factor of 9.5 out of 10. Only one film on our list scores higher: the raw, unedited footage, the chilling neutrality of the children, and the parents' frantic attempts to rationalize their children's behavior make this feel less like a movie and more like genuinely recovered traumatic evidence. The fear effectiveness comes in strong at 8.5 out of 10. This isn't about traditional jump scares. It's about a constant, grinding psychological dread rooted in the horror of the unthinkable. The fear is primal. Its legacy score is a solid 7.5. While it didn't achieve blockbuster status, it is a vital, brutal entry into the domestic horror subgenre and is revered by found footage purists for its unflinching approach. The core conflict is that the parents are documenting their own failure to confront the pure, unexplained malice taking root in their children. It's the ultimate test of psychological endurance for the viewer. If you want a film that will truly convince you that you're watching something forbidden, put on Home Movie. You've survived the first half of the Macabre Marathon. We've hit some of the most realistic, unsettling films the genre has to offer. The top 5 are locked, loaded, and ready to terrify you. If you're enjoying the deep dive, do us a huge favor. Take 2 seconds to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to support the marathon, and make sure you don't miss our final, shocking reveals. We're kicking off the top 5 with a film that exploits a fear we all share, taking us out of the home and into a house of guaranteed terror. At number 5, Hell House LLC, 2015. The film is structured as an investigative documentary 5 years after a tragic event. 15 visitors and staff died on the opening night of the Hell House attraction in the Abaddon Hotel. The footage we see is composed primarily of the attraction crew's raw tapes as they spent a week setting up inside the hotel. What makes the premise so terrifying is its simple realism. Found footage is at its best when the camera is supposed to be recording, and this crew is filming every step of their setup for business insurance and promotional content. It's perfect rationale. How does it score? Hell House LLC achieves a brilliant realism factor of 8.5 out of 10. It feels exactly like a low-budget haunt crew setting up shop, making the atmosphere instantly believable. But where it truly soars is its scares. It earns a stunning fear effectiveness score of 9.5 out of 10, the highest fear score in our entire top 5. It uses its simple setting to perfection, mastering the art of the slow, subtle movement in the background. The scene with the mannequin in the basement is, frankly, legendary. Its legacy score comes in at a solid 8.0 for creating a major cult hit and spawning a successful franchise that dominates streaming queues every Halloween. The final verdict is that Hell House LLC is the definitive haunted attraction found footage film. It understands that you don't need blockbuster effects. You just need to put a camera in a dark room and let the viewer's paranoia fill the space. It's a relentless, terrifying achievement. We're moving up to the film that proved found footage wasn't just for cabin in the woods realism, but could also tackle giant city-destroying monsters. At number 4, Cloverfield, 2008. The premise is simple. A group of friends is throwing a farewell party in New York when a giant monster suddenly attacks. They grab a handy cam and decide to document the chaos as they try to cross the collapsing city to save a friend. This film single-handedly redefined the scale of the genre. Before Cloverfield, found footage was intimate and psychological. This movie turned it into a massive shaky cam disaster epic, forcing the viewer to feel like they are trapped right in the middle of a national catastrophe. In terms of sheer scope, nothing touches it. Its legacy score is a near-perfect 9.5 out of 10, rivaled only by our top 2 films. It was a massive commercial hit and launched an entire cinematic universe, proving the format could be a serious box office weapon. Its fear effectiveness is also incredibly high, scoring a 9. The panic, the explosions, the sound design, it's 2 hours of relentless, adrenaline-fueled terror. The trade-off for this massive scale is the genre's biggest flaw, realism. It scores the lowest of our top 4 at 7.5 out of 10. The question of why are they still filming a monster attack is always there, but the film is so fun and so kinetic, most people don't care. The final word on Cloverfield is that it's the ultimate adrenaline rush in found footage cinema. It may sacrifice some plausible realism, but it delivers an unmatched experience of large-scale chaos, putting the camera directly into the hands of the audience during a monster movie. It sits just above the high realism films below it due to its undeniable cultural and commercial impact. But to reach the top 3, we must return to a flawless execution of terror. We are moving from a multi-million-dollar monster disaster to a terrifying single-location siege. Our number 3 spot goes to the most viscerally terrifying found footage film ever made, REC 2007. The film follows Angela Vidal, a TV reporter, and her cameraman Pablo, who are covering a shift at a local fire station in Barcelona. They are called to an apartment building where an elderly woman is trapped. What they find is not a rescue mission, but a rapid, shocking outbreak that turns the building into a quarantine kill zone, all captured in relentless, first-person, real-time. This film is a masterclass in controlled chaos. It's shot almost entirely in real time, giving the viewer zero reprieve and forcing them to experience the increasing horror and desperation right alongside the characters. REC is a landmark film that scores high across the board. Its realism factor comes in at 8 out of 10. While the premise gets intense, the continuous camera work and believable reactions of the trapped residents maintain a high degree of immersion. Its legacy score is a strong 9, generating highly successful sequels and a major American remake. But the reason it breaks into the top 3 is its peerless fear effectiveness score, a staggering 9.5 out of 10. That is the highest fear score on our entire countdown. The combination of the tight corridors, the sudden speed of the infected, and the blinding night vision climax creates non-stop, kinetic terror. The final word on REC is that it is pure, unrelenting cinema. It's not interested in subtlety. It wants to terrify you. It's relentless. From the first scream to the final, chilling image in the darkness, it's a non-stop masterclass in tension and shock. It may be the most frightening film on this list, but to earn the number 2 spot, a film must achieve maximum cultural impact and unparalleled realism. We now move up to a phenomenon that redefined how cheap horror could be. To reach the number 2 spot, a film must achieve maximum cultural impact and unparalleled realism. This movie did both, proving you can scare millions of people with a camera, a basement microphone, and a budget the size of a used car. At number 2, Paranormal Activity, 2007. The film's genius lies in its simplicity. A young couple, Katie and Micah, believe they are being haunted by a demonic presence. Micah buys a video camera to document the phenomenon, setting it up every night to record them while they sleep. This static, unassuming perspective is what made the film a legend. It took the intimacy of found footage and brought it into the modern home. The slow build, the quiet anxiety, the dread of waiting for something to happen. It was a phenomenon that launched 1,000 imitations and dominated pop culture for years. The scoring speaks for itself. It earns an incredible realism factor of 9. The static camera and the believable human arguments between the couple sell the illusion completely. For its shocking success in theaters, it earns a near-perfect legacy score of 9.5 out of 10, creating one of the biggest horror franchises of the 21st century. While REC was more kinetic, Paranormal Activity delivers masterful psychological terror, earning a powerful fear effectiveness score of 9 out of 10. It taught an entire generation to be afraid of the quiet hours between midnight and 3 a.m. The final word on Paranormal Activity is that it's a perfect execution of minimal horror. It proved that what you don't see is infinitely scarier than what you do. It took the principles established by the film above it and adapted them for the digital age, generating a cultural footprint that is hard to match. But there is one film that invented the blueprint, perfected the art of the hoax, and fundamentally changed the genre forever. We have reached the top. The number 1 film on our list is not the scariest, nor the highest budget, but it is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most important. It remains the most influential, most debated, and most legendary found footage film in history. Our number 1, The Blair Witch Project, 1999. In 1999, 3 film students, Heather, Mike, and Josh, venture into the woods of Burkittsville, Maryland, to film a documentary about the local legend of the Blair Witch. Their disappearance and the recovery of their footage launched a global phenomenon that fundamentally changed horror, marketing, and the internet forever. This film didn't just use found footage. It invented the modern genre. It proved that fear is more powerful when the audience genuinely believes what they are seeing is real. It turned filmmaking into an elaborate hoax. The scoring is untouchable. We are giving The Blair Witch Project 2 perfect scores. Its legacy score is an undeniable 10 out of 10. It set the template, defined the aesthetic, and pioneered viral marketing that convinced a generation the footage was authentic. More critically for this list, its realism factor is a perfect 10 out of 10. The film feels raw, improvised, and utterly non-cinematic. It is the gold standard for believable recovered media. This perfect realism, combined with its high fear effectiveness score of 9 out of 10, created through unseen threat and psychological collapse, secures its top spot. What makes it endure is the power of the suggestion. The terror comes not from a monster reveal, but from the cumulative effect of small, cruel acts, rocks thrown, stick figures, and the slow realization that they are completely and hopelessly lost. It is a masterpiece of dread. The final word. The Blair Witch Project is the Rosetta Stone of found footage. Every film we've discussed today, from Host to Paranormal Activity, owes its existence to the 3 students who walked into the Black Hills forest with a camera and changed horror forever. That wraps up the found footage portion of the Macabre Marathon. We've gone from grainy VHS to digital dread, but the fear is always real. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us know in the comments if your top 10 matches ours, and tell us which film you think should have ranked higher. We'll be back next episode to tackle our next genre, Top 10 Supernatural. Don't forget to like and subscribe.